Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we're going to play in the mud. We are going to plant gorgeous trees and hydrangeas here along the creek bank, but we are going to be playing in the mud today because last night we got 2.5 inches of great rain, but this is the perfect time really to go ahead and add. We're going to do a Japanese maple, we're going to do a dogwood, and then we've got a whole different assortment of hydrangeas, the ones that Southern Living Plant Collection sent us. We're going to get them in the ground. The reason that I am doing this while the ground is nice and wet is because where we're planting these trees and shrubs, there is no irrigation. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a tough love, and so I want to put them in when the ground is damp, wet, and for the next couple of days we're supposed to get some good rain. Cooler temperatures, it's not going to be extremely hot, it is not going to be dry. This way the plants hopefully will have zero shock. They will, acclimate to their new home really well, and just be kind of smooth sailing as far as they go. I'm going to get a little muddy probably, I am sure. I've got my mud boots on, I have got my power planter auger. We are ready to go. So let's talk about what we're going to do. We're going to do these in two different locations along the creek bank here at the house. I've gone ahead and set out the plants here. First, we're going to start down on this end. So just to kind of give you perspective, right, the nursery is just right across the creek. You can see where the porta potty is. And Jackson had worked really hard and cleaned out this for us, I don't know, maybe a month ago. You can see that the weeds are starting to come back. Not much I can do about the weeds right now. It's all right. We're going to plant anyway. So here I have 2 hydrangeas, and y'all, I have not a clue what kind of hydrangeas these are. They have been at the nursery for literally years. The plant tag is gone. It is non-branded because they are in black pots. I do know that it is some kind of macrophylla hydrangea because, of course, you've got those nice, big, beautiful, kind of those light green leaves, and it is already starting to put on some buds. So I don't know what they are. I just know they're Max, which means that they would benefit greatly from morning sun and afternoon shade. This one looks pretty good. This one is, she's a little lopsided. That's all right, y'all. No worries whatsoever. Again, this is not like a high profile area. I am thinking about long-term longevity. These will be great. I'm assuming they're the same kind, so I'm planting them somewhat close together. They're about, probably about 3 feet, 3.5 feet apart from one another, because I'm thinking at maturity, they will look like one nice big giant hydrangea. So this will be perfect. I know that macrophyllas do really well here, because just a little bit of ways down the creek bank, I have got just some good old classic hydrangeas, those Max, and they do beautiful. They're huge. They're covered in flowers every year. They get the morning sun, but because of being underneath this tree canopy, the sun sets this direction, so they are in the shade by noon, which will be perfect for them. Next, we have the Golden Shadows Pagoda Dogwood from Proven Winners. Y'all, this is the second one I have. The first one is up by the mailbox, the gate, and it is doing fabulous. It mostly is for the foliage, of course, right? You have got this beautiful chartreuse on the outer edges, dark green on the inside. It is a stunning dogwood. It bloomed for the first time up at the gate this year. And what I love about this, of course, is the color. And no, this is not like a lopsided dogwood. It grows very horizontally. So your branches are very much more horizontal than they are vertical. It's not going to get super tall. It's going to get wide. And so the reason that I have gone with the long side to the right is that way this will get a little bit more sun hopefully, and it will fill in and start growing this direction. So very excited about this Golden Shadows. Again, second one we've had. The first one is stunning up at the gate. And then my last, bless her heart, last but not least, Japanese maple from my plant haul from Mr. Maple that I ordered back in the fall after Hurricane Helene. This is, now remember, this is Fascination. And Fascination is going to be one of the most sun tolerant Japanese maples that I got from Mr. Maple. So gonna be down here, gonna get that beautiful sun, and we're going to go ahead and stake him. This is a 1 gallon. We're going to amend the soil. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But the good thing too about planting now, when we have that 2.5 inches of rain, I know exactly where my water puddles. So you can see I've got a nice big puddle. Some of it it will eventually kind of drain down to the creek because the creek is just right here. But at least I know I'm not putting it directly just sitting in this puddle of water. If I had planted it yesterday, I may have been inclined to put it right there, which would not have been probably the best thing for it to be sitting in water. This will drain by the end of the day, but still, it'll have been here for, you know, a good 12 hours. But all of this is going to get nice moisture when it does rain because, of course, this is the creek right here. So this is the low spot. All the water comes in this direction. So talking about amending the soil, because as you can see, we have our lovely red clay right here. So each plant is going to get some of the Black Gold Ultra Outdoor Planting Mix. This is perfect for amending that soil. It adds that organic matter to it. It has a great blend of the compost and the aged pine bark fines. So basically what I'm going to do is everybody is going to get some mixed in with the native soil, but my main way that I'm going to use this today is I'm going to top dress. So once the plants are in the ground, I'm going to take a good amount of this and top dress all the way around that shrub. That way, it helps retain the moisture, it feeds the plant, it helps keep the weeds at bay, gives a nice little barrier because come summertime, come the heat, the rains, typically they stop. Not on irrigation down here, I'll have to hand water. So this is going to help me tremendously and the plants tremendously retain that moisture and get that good organic matter into the soil. Now, I jam-packed my Southern Living hydrangeas on here. We've talked about this before when they came. So basically what I have is I have 3 of the Deer Dolores. All of these are going to be shade-loving hydrangeas. They can do morning sun. They're rated as that part shade to shade. So that means at the most 5 hours of like morning sun for all of these guys or less. So Deer Dolores is going to be a 5x5. She is going to be pH dependent. We have already got some buds on Deer Dolores. I've got a total of 3. So here is another Deer Dolores. Look at that beautiful flower bud. And there's another one back here. So we've got those. Then we've got in here, we have got Big Daddy. Big Daddy is the smallest plant right now that I have, but it is going to be a 6x6 and gorgeous extra large blooms, huge blooms on it. Still is another kind of macrophylla, still that shade to part shade. We've got that. And then we've got oak leaf hydrangeas. Y'all look at these. They're blooming. They're gorgeous. This is after 2.5 inches of rain last night. So you can see that they're still nice and perky. They are just absolutely exquisite, have a beautiful fragrance to them. And I don't think these have tags on them. I'll put the specs up for you and all the details, but they're gonna be big. So that traditional oak leaf hydrangea, that like 10 to 20, I wanna say, was like, so they're gonna be giant. So we're gonna use these as like some really focal points, and we're going to put those guys in this bed over here. We'll talk about that more once we get over there. But first, what we're going to do is go ahead and get the 2 trees and those Macs in the ground. We are going to get muddy and have some fun. We're thinking long-term, creating a beautiful woodland shade garden, that classic Southern garden, right? With dogwoods, hydrangeas, throwing a Japanese maple in there for good measure. It's gonna be fun. So let's just get dirty. My friends, we got the dogwood, Japanese maple, and then the 2 mystery hydrangeas. They are planted. I weigh about 10 pounds heavier today because of the mud on my feet. Moved to a little bit drier spot here in the, I don't even say it's the more manicured because it's not, but we have some gorgeous azaleas and hydrangeas in here. But this is also the area that has just kind of gone wild, trying to reclaim it. So Jerry is in the back helping me dig some holes. We've already placed everything. So I'm gonna go through and show you where we've placed them and kind of give you the idea of why we did what we did, thinking of that, and then looking towards the future, because this is a spot where you definitely have to think of what it's going to be, what it does not look like right now, because right now she is a hot mess. She is on the hot mess express, let me tell you. So he is putting in a Big Daddy. So Big Daddy is going to be a 6x6. So basically what we have in this space, to give you an idea, so we've got azaleas, traditional Mac, another azalea right here. So the Big Daddy is going to go in because it's going to be a 6x6. And so we went in a little closer to the mock orange, thinking of mature size. And then that way we could have a 6x6, and then we can work our way down here with shorter stuff as we go. Still will not hide the azalea. And then we have the Sims Beauty oak leaf hydrangea. Now, when I first introduced these, I called it Seams. And somebody very kindly said, I'm from Alabama, that's not how you say it. And so I looked it up, and so I'm pretty sure it's Seams. So if I still mispronounced it, I apologize. I do not know what it is close to. I did not look at it on a Google map.
Where did we go to get the buying machine?
It was outside of Mobile. We'll look it up. We'll throw up a little picture or something. But the Sims Beauty is going to be 10 feet tall, 20 feet wide. I mean, my gosh, y'all. So again, we tried to center it between the traditional great azalea and the mock orange. So think 20 feet at maturity. Now, I would think it's going to take a hot minute to get 20 feet wide and 10 feet tall. Also, can we talk about, this is why we need to have that Jenny's auger, because look at that beautiful clay soil right there and those roots. But look how fluffy it is. That's the E-clutch kicking in. So that's what saves you. And this is also almost like a 3.5 gallon. It's still kind of narrow, but it's tall. So that's why Jerry was having to go down so far. And this is also exactly why we always preach, amend, 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 amend. That is pure red clay. There is no organic matter in there whatsoever. These plants love organic matter, and so that is why we are adding that black gold. Of course, using that biotone, so he's kind of making the hole a little bit bigger, kind of loosening up that root that was behind there, and just kind of getting some good stuff in there. The black stuff that you see, that is, he laid down the Ultra Outdoor. You see that root? I mean, like, that's a big one. And that's why we have the E-clutch on that drill. Yep. It'll do it. It just may take a minute. Okay, so we'll let him work. So you've got the Sims Beauty on this one. We had 2 of those because I knew they were huge. And so when Southern Living approached me and said, hey, you want some hydrangeas? I said, yes. I knew that 2 would be perfect. So basically what we did is we centered each one between the mock orange and that azalea, the mock orange, and this hydrangea. So it's dead center right there. So speaking of, this is, again, good old traditional Mac hydrangea. I don't have a clue what kind it is, but can you see all of those buds? Amazing. I mean, this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I do have honeysuckle growing in here, so you can see the honeysuckle is right in here. Once it stops blooming, then I'm going to take it out. I'm going to come in here and clean it out, but it smells so good right now. I'm going to enjoy the fragrance, and then we'll take care of the nuisance of the honeysuckle later. So we got the 2 Sims Beauty, and then we have another Big Daddy right here. So I was thinking, okay, we've got a hole, and so we've got gorgeous azaleas here. Let's put it here, and trust me, you will be able to see this, even though it is in the back. So I'm going to kind of do a little spin here. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of cleanup to do in here. So this is a pesky grass that I don't want in here. So that's going to be coming out. And then the irises are going to stay, but they're going to get relocated. They're going to get moved a little bit. So you're going to have a clear shot of Big Daddy right here. And being a 6x6, it will be perfect. So the other Big Daddy is going to go there. And then up here on the front side of this hydrangea, we're going to put the 3 Dear Doloreses all together. So we've got 3 of them right there. These will be those 5x5s. And so basically I want to make a huge impact, kind of putting them towards the front of the border so that they will be absolutely stunning together. And we'll just, between these 3 and then this Mac hydrangea, that it will be just an amazing display. The tall behind here, that is a limelight hydrangea that I've kind of somewhat turned into a standard. And so we'll have all sorts of beautiful, gorgeous colors right here. Now we have one more Big Daddy to go. And so we were thinking, okay, well, where can we put another Big Daddy? And so we're coming on down. So as we move down, we've got more azaleas covered in honeysuckle, more azaleas, and then we have this natural break right here. And so it is the perfect spot to put that Big Daddy, because my last hydrangea is this guy right here. So then we have a hydrangea, azalea, azalea, and then we'll have another hydrangea as Big Daddy, and then my huge section of azaleas right here. We've got a dogwood right here. So this is the perfect place to put a Big Daddy. It will literally fill in that whole entire area, and it will be glorious. So I have a love-hate relationship with honeysuckle. This time of year, I absolutely love it. There is nothing to me, perhaps other than a gardenia, that the fragrance is my absolute favorite. And growing up as a child, we would go to the woods. We would find the honeysuckle, and we would, quote, drink the nectar out of the honeysuckle. If you have drunk the nectar of honeysuckle, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I love it because it has that gorgeous fragrance. It is my favorite. I always want to have honeysuckles on the property. That's the love part. The hate part is it's overtaking my plants. So I've got to come in here and rip it out. Again, I am going to wait until after it finishes blooming, and so that way I can get in here, enjoy the fragrance while it's here. But yeah, if I don't, it will literally cover the entire plant, therefore not allowing sun to get onto the azalea, which obviously is not a good thing because the plant needs sun. So that is my love-hate relationship with honeysuckle. So I need to get off here, help Jerry finish up these babies, and then I'll meet you back here in just a second. All right, my friends, so we have got all of the hydrangeas in the ground over here. Oh, it feels great to get these babies in the ground. I am slowly whittling away at my stash of plants, and man, it feels great. So getting these hydrangeas in the ground, yes, we both are a bit of a muddy mess. This is why I wore my muck boots, so it'd be nice and easy to wash them off. But getting them in before or after some rain, so the soil is damp. Of course, the plants were nice and wet because they got those 2.5 inches of rain as well. And then, like I said, the temperatures are cooler. It's warm, but it's not oppressively hot. And then, so today is Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I think, or we have really high chances of rain. I know like all day Monday is supposed to get good rain. and like the high's gonna be in the low 60s. So this is perfect for these hydrangeas to go in, because that's the thing about the South, right? We have to think about, we are going into the heat, and it can change on a dime. If you are a Southerner, you know it can be 60 one day and it can be 90 literally the next day. So we want to get these hydrangeas, those roots really well established before that stress of the summer heat and humidity hits. Ideally, in my brain, from my experience, the perfect time to plant your hydrangeas is like late fall, early winter here in the South. That way you have all winter, we're getting consistent rain. Obviously the temperatures are a lot cooler. They have lost all of their leaves, so all of their growth is going into their roots, and they're not trying to sustain the foliage and or produce flowers. So planting hydrangeas in the South, North Carolina, Zone 8A in mid-May, we're starting to get a little bit on the cusp of maybe, you know, just having to not struggle a little bit, but you're definitely going to have to watch them. I'm going to have to watch these all summer, making sure that they get the water that they need, because that first year, I tell people, keep the plant alive, keep that hydrangea alive, keep that tree alive. If you can keep it alive the first year, you're not going to see massive growth. No, remember, gardening teaches you patience. The first year it sleeps, the second year it creeps, the third year it leaps. Keep it alive the first year, my friends. Give it that water, and it needs not just a little sprinkle of water, that nice, deep, slow watering. So if you're not getting the rain, then you're gonna have to supplement it. Otherwise, they are going to struggle and or die. So that is my task for this summer, is to keep them alive and keep them happy. Now, with hydrangeas, if you've ever heard of heat wilt, this is super common in the heat of the summer. Even if the hydrangea is in the shade, and my established ones will do this, maybe we haven't had nice consistent rain. It's, you know, it's not a drought, but it's on the dryish side, and the temperatures are up. In the afternoon, sometimes your hydrangeas, they just look very limpy. They look tired and sad, and they are wilting. Now, a lot of times that is heat wilt. If in the morning when you wake up and you look at your hydrangea and she's perky and she's happy and everything is good and great, then she's okay. If she is still limp in the morning, that is like a red flag saying, I need water, I need water, I need water. So make sure that you get out there ASAP and give it a good, deep watering. They should perk up pretty quickly, but just know that heat wilt in your hydrangeas in the afternoon, late afternoon, in the heat of the summer, very common even for established hydrangeas. Now, the other thing that we're going to have to get on top of is all the growth that we don't want to be happening in this bed. So mainly what you see, all of this low green right here, this is mostly Japanese anemones. My mama gave me a patch 15 years ago, and they naturalize, they spread. They're beautiful, I love them, but the problem is, look right here. Do you see who this little friend is right here? That's Mr. Thorny Bush, and we have got tons of these thorns in here. And so they are all throughout the Japanese anemones. So it is like near impossible to keep the Japanese anemones and to eliminate the briars. So honestly, the Japanese anemones, they're a dime a dozen. Like these are super common. Clearly, they're very prolific. And so basically, we're going to sacrifice the Japanese anemones to get control over this area. So we will spray this with an herbicide. You choose your herbicide of choice, my friends. That is always so controversial here in the horticultural world. It's like, oh my gosh, you're spraying weeds. You know what, y'all? Sometimes you have to. I'm going to let you choose which one you use. We use what we use. You use what you use, and so you just got to do sometimes what you got to do. So that's what we're going to do. So we will spray them, they will die back. So the briars, I've got some maple trees in here. Like, I've got a little bit of everything. I got some oak trees, you name it. They're not supposed to be here. They're growing up in the middle of plants. Those I will not spray because it could hit the plant. I will cut it and use my brush and stump killer on that. But that's going to be a full-time job this summer, is to maintain this. Once this main green undergrowth dies, we'll come in, we'll mow it with the mower, and then we're going to come in here and do a bulk, huge application of a compost mulch blend on this. So because as you saw, there is no compost, there's no organic matter in here, and that's a great way to suppress the weeds, keep these weeds at bay. If they pop up, you can just shoot those ones that pop up, get rid of them, adds organic matter to it, and then of course keeps the erosion from happening, and it makes it look pretty. So that is going to be our job this summer, is keeping an eye on this, so that way this fall Jenny can have lots of fun planting all of those beautiful woodland shade plants that I so desperately want to be able to do, because 99% of my gardens are full hot sun. So anyway, I hope you have found this fun. Hope you have found some hydrangeas and some plants that maybe piqued your interest a little bit. Another huge thank you to our friends at Southern Living Plant Collection for sending us all of these gorgeous hydrangeas. They are in the ground. They are going to grow. I cannot wait to see them get nice and happy and how they develop over these coming years. As always, if you found it fun, informative, inspirational, like the video, subscribe to Garden Creekside. That way you don't miss those 5 videos we do every week. We'll see you in the next video. Have fun in your gardens, my friend. Bye.